Good afternoon. Welcome to our SMTV live show. We hope you're having a great Monday so far. I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Mackenzie Murray.
Sometimes the most interesting news isn't directly related to social media, but it shows the result and how social media interacts with some interesting current events. For example, this record-breaking
skydive.
Free fall and skydive by Felix Baumgartner.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I watched it yesterday. It was really very different. It was something that more than just we're launching into space. This guy is just trying to make a world record happen. I really liked it.
And what an interesting concept for Red Bull, who sponsored this event, because it's different than your magazine ad or a billboard or even anything on social media. It's a stunt.
Yeah.
It's a real stunt that shows what the limits of human action and excitement.
Red Bull gives you wings. I think that's what they were really going for.
That's exactly what
they were like, we're tired of just saying it. I think we really need to just prove it. And I think Red Bull really does give you wings.
And interesting to see how it looked on social media throughout and then afterwards. So let me scroll down in our article that we found here to some of the stats. So one record it did also set on YouTube is that there were more than 8 million live views, which is a live viewing record on YouTube. And then after, huge reactions on Facebook, over 200,000 likes, 10,000 comments, 29,000 shares of that image of Mr. Baumgartner landing.
Yes, I know. I woke up today and it was just all over my news feed, all over my company's page's news feed. It was the talk of the town today. So congratulations to him, by the way.
Absolutely, congratulations to Felix and on this incredible adventure that is not just, it just culminates with this event, but he's been planning this, I think, for years.
It's kind of like that, what's his name? The magician who didn't eat for a while, and David Blaine.
David Blaine.
He was in the ice.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now David Blaine's just going to have to top this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
He'll
I
have
can't
to be
even
suspended from 24 miles up and just stay there.
Right, and hold his breath for a while.
Right.
I can't even imagine what he would do next.
We're here to help you out with your social media projects or answer any questions that you may have about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, skydiving, YouTube, your blogs, Pinterest, whatever you're working on.
You can email us your questions to questions@splashmediau.com, or you can tweet them by using the hashtag SMTVQuestions.
So let's get started. We'll take some questions from our viewers. Lee wants to know, is it possible to see when someone visits my Facebook page?
If you're talking more of like a LinkedIn sense, I would say no, you really can't just click a button or a link to see who's actually viewed your page, but you can go into your Facebook Insights and you can pull data from, where refers are coming from. Or you can, if you have a link that you want your people to follow you or, connect with, you can set up a bit.ly link and you can track how many people are clicking on that link from there.
I think those are two great answers, two great ways to do some tracking of Facebook, even though, like you said, you can't do it the same way you get notified when someone views your LinkedIn profile. But I pulled up the insights. Your first example is perfect from Splash Media's Facebook page. And I can just scroll down and see where people are coming from. I can see countries, cities, languages, and I can scroll down even a little bit further and show some of the external referrers. So they're coming from our website, they're coming from YouTube, and just like you said, having a shortened link is a great way to see exactly how many people are coming from a YouTube video or from your LinkedIn page, because you can set up that shortened link.
I mean, if you have a YouTube page or a LinkedIn page or a Twitter page, go ahead and put that shortened URL in there, and that way you can track where it's coming from either you're pulling in from Twitter, you're pulling in from YouTube. So I think it's really smart.
Great idea.
Our next question is from Nadine. Nadine wrote to us and asked, why aren't people following me on Twitter?
The first question I would ask is, what are you tweeting? Are you tweeting things that are follow-worthy? I mean, we're already assuming that you are following people, and maybe that's not a good idea to assume, because that's the first step of reaching out and actually following people that you're interested in and interested in talking to. Moving past that step, you got to take a look at your tweets, maybe the frequency of your tweets, and what the content actually is.
Definitely. If you're just, random tweets going out the day, I would say it's, it really depends on what your content is. Also, people don't really take the time to utilize their their Twitter profile. So when you go in your settings and you set your bio, go ahead and put hashtags and, you know, like certain interests that you have. You know, I put a hashtag in mine that says social media and TV and games. So I think, I get followers daily. So I think that if you optimize your profile to fit what you need, I think that you can start gaining more followers.
That's a great idea. Always optimize profiles across the board in your social media platforms. And I would also ask how people are finding you. How are people finding your Twitter profile? Do you have the little icon on your website, on your other social sites? Are you sending out emails with your Twitter handle and your signature? Lots
Definitely.
of other great ways to get your name out there.
Oh yes, definitely.
Philip wants to know, as a business executive, how many times a day should I tweet?
Well, if you're a business executive and you're not really focusing on a company basis, I think that, you know, no more than 5 to 4 tweets a day. If, you know, if it's your own personal one, then you can tweet as many times as you want. But I think if you are representing a brand or your business, I think it really depends, because you want to start with an engagement tweet, and then you want to people are going to be replying to you and mentioning you, so you want to just interact. So you'll be doing it constantly all day, I would say.
That's true, and it's good to leave a little bit of room for that. And you know, as a business executive, it's this interesting middle ground, because you're not tweeting for yourself, hey, I had a sandwich today, or I'm at this concert. But you're also not tweeting, you're possibly, from the sound of your question, not tweeting directly as the brand. So you're not sending out coupons or promos or telling people, go check out this video. So I like where you kind of put that mark, right at like the 4 to 5 range a day,
Yeah.
because you want to provide some value, show some authority, and I don't think you have to do too many as an executive to be able to prove that.
I know some people are always saying like, oh, if, you know, someone tweets more than 5 times a day, I'm unfollowing them. That's just not how it goes. Twitter is more, you don't have any other, you know, that's how you interact in Twitter. You're talking, you're mentioning, you're hashtagging. So I think you have to find a nice balance.
Right. Very good point.
Cameron wrote to us, how do I buy a hashtag, speaking of Twitter?
Oh, speaking of Twitter, and I'm glad this question came up, because we have talked about trending topics that people have purchased recently. So this is a perfect follow-up question to that, to those other topics from this week, or from last week. So let's go ahead and take a look at business.twitter.com. Great starting place for starting to advertise on Twitter. And you can see they've divided it into categories. So there's some for marketers here, some for small businesses. Specifically, if you want to buy a hashtag, you're really buying a trend. So I can click on Promoted Trends here. And this just walks you through the process of what a promoted trend is. And then the next step is really to, you know, decide what your trend is going to be and set your budget. Yeah,
definitely. I don't really purchase any hashtags, but I do register them at tweetdubs.org, and it's more of kind of, if you're in a conference and you want to set a hashtag for people to, you know, kind of like a meet and greet, or if you want to have like a tweet up. I feel like no one does those anymore. No one has tweet ups anymore. Yeah. So, you know, you can go there and register a hashtag, and it basically just groups it all together, so your topic is relevant that what you're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Here's that site that you mentioned, Twubs, yeah, Twubs.com, where you can register a hashtag, and it's a great resource. It's basically a directory, so you can see ahead of time, is anybody else using this hashtag, or is it, it's not that it wouldn't be available, because hashtags are open to the public, but you don't want to use something that's already been, you know, hundreds of thousands of people are already using for another purpose.
Exactly.
You know, another thing I would recommend, my last little recommendation for a business that wants to maybe spend some resources on Twitter, possibly start with a promoted tweet.
Oh, I agree.
Maybe start there, because I think your budget's going to be a little bit lower.
Yes, and I'm getting constant emails all the time about Twitter just giving me free bucks for promoted tweets. So
that's good to know.
Yeah, so I think if you are getting Twitter emails and stuff like that, so I think it'd be really helpful if you really want to go in that direction.
Yeah, start with a promoted tweet, and then when you are PBS or the Obama campaign, then you work your way up to one of these promoted trends that we're seeing. Well, that's a bunch of malarkey. That's going to do it for today. We'd like to thank you for making SMTV part of your day, and thanks for sending in your social media questions. Keep them coming. For Splash Media, I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Mackenzie Murray. Thanks for being with us today.